What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some punk rock. And in fact, this is a punk rock reaction I didn't plan for, but I was inspired to do because I reacted to a track by a-ha. Let me explain. I reacted to a track by a-ha called Go to Sleep. And as I said in the introduction to that reaction, that phrase took my brain immediately to a song I hadn't heard in several years, but which I am massively fond of, which is to say my favorite tune by Canadian punk rock band Nomeansno. When I encountered them, which was probably late 90s, early 2000s, through the alternative Tentacles record label run by Jello Biafra, one-time singer of the Dead Kennedys. But yeah, ultimately I encountered them because I was going through the AT catalog and just looking for other groups because it's a really cool label, and independent music is part of the punk rock world. So I eventually saw another Canadian punk band. I'm a big fan of Propagandhi and the Canadian version of the Subhumans, not the Subhumans you see behind you, but a different Subhumans, and also cool. So I was like, I'll check out another Canadian band. So I checked out Nomeansno. Long story short, they're like this art, kind of like intellectual hardcore punk band, although hardcore punk, a lot of their songs are not what you normally think of or what you mean when you say hardcore punk. And indeed, this song, it has this slower down-tempo rhythm, but it's a very well-constructed tune with some wicked guitar riffs and some great singing. But anyway, I thought of this tune because there's a part in the song near the end, my favorite part, where they sing this chant-style recurrent vocal of Go to Sleep. And what does that mean? Well, the tune is called Dark Ages, and this was written in 1988. It was the lead tune, or the first tune, on their 1988 album, Small Parts Isolated and Destroyed. Now, at the same time, and also on Alternative Tentacles, they put out an EP called The Day Everything Became Nothing. Now, in the, I want to say late 90s or something, when I was, discovering them, they had put out this combo release on AT, which was the album, Small Parts Isolated and Destroyed, mixed with the EP, or plus the EP, The Day Everything Became Nothing, and they labeled it The Day Everything Became Isolated and Destroyed. So that's the release I have now. I don't have the case anymore, I don't even have the disc, but I have it on my computer. And yeah, as I said, Dark Ages, my favorite tune by them. So this was 88, right? Computers are becoming much more prominent in daily life and in people's homes, not just in government offices that have computers that take up a whole room and so on. The PC world and revolution was well and truly on. And it's a song that's essentially making the case that in an era where silicon chips and an age of information unlike had ever been seen before, it was actually ushering in dark ages in which people are not reading or educating themselves in the way they used to, and instead they're just sort of having this mass commercial information beamed at them. And ultimately the idea of the recurrent part of the tune, the near the end, the Go to Sleep, is that the powers that be and the people who own television stations and even the people who run governments would just as well be happy if you all just kind of listened to all that and heard all that and just did what you were supposed to, stayed in your place, don't rock the boat, don't make any waves. So again, Go to Sleep here has a very political, or at least philosophical and social sort of meaning. But above and beyond that, the guitar work, fantastic. The composition of the tune, which has this very, again, kind of slinky down-tempo feel to it. It's just fantastic. So with no further ado, let's listen. This is Nomeansno on their album originally, Small Parts Isolated and Destroyed, though we're hearing it here from the later compilation, The Day Everything Became Isolated and Destroyed, and this is the tune Dark Ages.
seems so ghastly, while the things you push is so but how much too late, you're subjugated under the shadow of the 9 to 5 it's us alive.
Didn't quite remember it, how incredible it is. Muddy Waters would be proud. So when it leads into my favorite part, the sort of growling vocals the lead singer does. Masterpiece. I feel like that is a routine and entirely fair designation. Again, their place in the punk rock world, it's unique. It's, they had their own style, and it definitely was like off the beaten path, more artsy, a bit more like cerebral, but still rocking and jamming. I'm trying to remember the brothers' name. Like the two people who started it and who were like, the longest running members were brothers. They basically retired as a group, I think in 2016. So they are now defunct, but they were around for a long time. Is it like the Wright brothers, I want to say? Not to be confused with Orville and Wilbur. Yeah, Rob Wright and John Wright. So John is on the drums. Dude, John, you are an insane drummer. Holy crap. And yeah, shout out to Rob for the vocals, because as I said, I really like the way he hits some of those growly lines, like right as it leads into the ominous chant, which again, it's like the concept of the song and like go to sleep, like it's this mantra and it's very soothing and calming and tranquil, but the implications of it are, sort of like self-assured doom and, walking yourself into an autocratic nightmare. So, yeah, like it's, I think, a really clever and well done tune. Ultimately, shout out to Nomeansno. They're not a group I know like sanely well. I only ever had this compilation, which at the time, like, I thought it was an album, even though it's clearly divided. Like if you look on the back, like, case, where it's like, this is small parts isolated and destroyed. This is the day everything became nothing. But like I just thought that was like a front side back side thing. Some albums have that like this is, you know, I'm going through a Heaven 17 album, Penthouse and Pavement, and like one side's the Penthouse side, one side's the Pavement side, so I thought it was something like that. But either way, that is my favorite tune by them. There's some other cool ones. Admittedly, they are more like sonically hit or miss for me. There were times where it's like, okay, I like some of the songwriting here. Sonically, not my favorite. Whereas, you know, a band like Propaganda or Bad Religion, it's like, you know, Bad Religion's probably the best example. It's like, there's not a song they do where I don't like. There are some that I like notably better than others, but, you know, there's not really a stinker in the bunch. Whereas there were times at Nomeansno on that compilation where it's like, I like some of the things that they're saying, and I like maybe one or two of the elements, but yeah, not my favorite. So it is funny how that can go. Like, you know, if you are more off the beaten path, if you are more artistic, maybe like you'll really hit with some people, or maybe even with the same person, like you'll hit with some things, and others it's like, whoa, like that's a bit too weird for me. So either way, I do give them massive respect. Shout out to AT, Alternative Tentacles, and Jello Biafra as well. Let me know what you think. I will see you next time. Peace.